A black and white-haired boy stands confidently on a city street.
His narrative reveals his final day of training on Earth before returning home to become an adult cat. Suddenly, a loud honk startles the boy as a vehicle's headlights bear down on him. A honk blares out. A firm hand suddenly grabs him, pulling him out of harm's way just as a truck sweeps past. Safe in the man's arms, the boy's heart begins to race with a loud, rhythmic thud. The mysterious man in the pinstripe suit begins to release his hold.
Elsewhere, a white-haired woman sits indifferently while a black cat meows at her feet.
The woman criticizes the cat, stating its failure to complete training in human form is evident. She delivers a devastating ultimatum, declaring the cat can never return to the cat planet. Under a starry night sky, the lonely black cat meows mournfully from a high ledge.
Desperate for entry, the cat begs for someone to open the door while scratching frantically. A scratch sounds. Barred from the entrance, the clever cat decides to find its own way inside.
Inside, the cat is shocked to find a muscular man showering and celebrates the free view.
The man notices the feline visitor, unaware the cat has spotted the fresh scratches on his arm. A group of adorable kittens meow together on a soft pink background.
A smack echoes as the matriarch slams her hand down, questioning if this ad truly helps their corporate image. Furiously, she demands to know who is responsible for the lackluster commercial.
A dead silence falls over the boardroom as the matriarch stands before her intimidated staff.
A nervous employee lowers his head and identifies the person in charge as Mr. Lin. Wearing an unkind smile, she asks for the whereabouts of the responsible party.
In a sunlit room within the Fanglian group building, the boy snores peacefully among plush cushions.
A can of food flies through the air with a quick swoosh toward the sleeper.
Awakening instantly, the boy catches the projectile in mid-air with a sharp grab. He looks at the can and tells the matriarch he despises the canned food found on Earth.
The boy throws the can aside in disgust, comparing it to preservatives, while the matriarch grows annoyed.
She leans down and gives him a gentle stroke, causing him to meow happily in response.
He licks his hand like a cat and asks what brought her to visit him. Noting his fatigue, she demands an explanation for the new property's advertising plan with a loud smack.
He pleads to avoid overtime on his last day, wanting to reflect on his Earth training instead.
She questions whether he has actually figured out the meaning of his stay.
He admits he still hasn't determined why their ancestors require 2 years of training on Earth. Feeling drained, he complains that walking upright for 2 years has made him feel physically ill. As she continues her lecture, he suddenly bolts for the door, announcing he is going out for dinner.
A slam rings out as he escapes, ignoring her orders to return and finish his work. Walking through the city, he reflects on his 2-year stay and wonders what he has actually learned. Standing by the road, he yawned sleepily while a car goes past with a loud vroom.
A visual signal marks the moment the pedestrian traffic light turns green. He begins to pace across the street, letting out another tired yawn as he walks.
A woman nearby screams for him to watch out as danger approaches. A sudden grab pulls him back as he cries out in surprise.
The man in the pinstripe suit shields him while the vehicle sweeps past them.
Looking up, the boy realizes the man has just intervened to save his life. Mr. Chu holds onto him firmly and asks if he is uninjured.
An assistant informs Mr. Chu that their car is waiting nearby.
With a final glance, Mr. Chu simply orders his assistant to move out.
As they walk away, the assistant asks about Mr. Chu's arm, but he dismisses the concern.
The boy stands stunned, realizing he smelled blood and that the man was already hurt before saving him. Determined to show his gratitude, the boy resolves to find and thank his savior.
Suddenly, his strength fails, and he collapses to the ground with a heavy thought. He huffs in distress, realizing with horror that he is beginning to transform back into a cat. Panicking as he loses control, Lin Feng realizes he is transforming. He disappears into the crowd as people go about their business.
Teeth grit together with a sharp gnash as blood drips down.
He sprints through the city streets with a quick patter sounding. A glowing blur zips through the crowd with several loud swooshes. The tall glass towers of the Fanglian group gleam under the sun.
Receptionists watch in confusion as a blur passes with a swoosh.
A door rings out with a slam as he enters the restroom. Worried staff outside ask if he's ill or needs medical assistance.
A red-haired woman asks about the commotion outside the ladies' room. A loud meow from inside startles the woman as she reacts.
She orders the staff to quickly retrieve a no-entry sign for housekeeping.
On her phone, she informs the matriarch of the situation. The silver-haired woman takes a quiet sip from her teacup.
An indifferent matriarch listens as the black cat meows at her feet.
The black cat looks up with big, watery, and docile eyes. He panics and lets out a meow while a scratch sounds. He tumbles across the table, explaining he didn't mean to transform back into his true form so suddenly.
A heavy bang sounds as she dismisses his act while he cries out. Rubbing his head, the lonely cat lets out a pained meow.
Softening her tone, the matriarch pets him and asks what happened.
He meows repeatedly to describe his encounter with the mysterious savior.
She summarizes how he was saved and transformed after the man left.
Remembering the man's wound, he wonders how his savior is doing. Standing up, she asks if he remembers the ancient laws of cats.
She explains he must return the favor because he transformed before his training was officially complete.
Panicked, the cat wonders how he can manage this in one night.
She declares the ancestral law is final and he cannot turn human again without returning the favor.
A soft jump sounds as the cat resolves to find the man.
Legend says cats from another planet must train on Earth for years. Looking out the window, she notes his fate is now his alone. The bright moon hangs over the silent towers of a hospital.
Feiya sits with a bandaged arm, appearing deep in thought.
An assistant mentions that Mr. Chu wants him to heal before returning.
Rapid footsteps echo through the empty corridor with a loud patter. Chuyang bursts into the room, demanding to know what happened to Feiya. Avoiding the question, Feiya simply adjusts his tie and walks past.
Chuyang follows with a patter, warning that enemies are growing very impatient and demanding answers about his injury.
Outside, Feiya tells Chuyang to calm down about the supposed accident.
He pauses by the car, reflecting on the boy he just saved. A slam rings out as Chuyang demands he bring bodyguards next time.
Looking determined, Feiya declares he is back and fears no one anymore.
The driver is ordered to take the men back to the house. A loud vroom echoes as the car speeds through the city. Perched high above, the cat hopes to track the scent of blood. The Grand Chu estate stands illuminated under the dark night sky. An elder looks out a window, reflecting on the passing years.
He watches as Feiya finally returns home after being away abroad. He tells Pei Wen that the brothers must now learn the family business.
Pei Wen wonders if Feiya missed his family during his long absence. The elder man wonders if Feiya misses anyone in this family.
A butler announces the return of the sons as Pei Wen suggests a mating.
A quick dodge occurs as the man attempts to touch the woman's hand.
Pei Wen brushes her hair back with a look of quiet and cold dissatisfaction.
Feiya watches silently as the two elders walk away up the stairs together. Feiya greets his father while Shang Tian acknowledges that Chuyang has also arrived.
The father welcomes Feiya home after years apart with a firm handshake. Chuyang begins explaining the difficulties Feiya faced, but stops as tension rises. Feiya glares at his friend, prompting Chuyang to awkwardly change the subject.
Watching from above, Pei Wen scoffs at the display of fatherly and filial affection.
A man's feet descend the stairs while he asks after his mother.
Qing Fang invites his mother to an auction for a Tang Dynasty hairpin.
He dismisses her suspicion, reminding her that her birthday is approaching soon.
Pleased he remembered, she asks if Feiya has truly returned to the house.
She advises Qing Fang to be polite while he questions his father's mutters.
Pei Wen recalls Qing Feng's childhood bond with Chuyang as they head downstairs together.
Qing Fang looks toward the others with a contemplative and slightly curious expression.
He admits that he truly missed seeing Chuyang over the passing years.
A soft patter sounds as Qing Feng and his mother approach the seated group.
Several loud meows echo through the city streets under the bright moon. A dark blur moves through the night sky with a quick swish.
Perched on a high ledge, the black cat lets out a soft sniff.
He struggles to track his savior with only a fading scent of blood.
The cat's attention is captured by an incredibly delicious smell nearby. With a determined leap, the feline moves toward a brightly lit window.
A desperate meow escapes as the cat scratches at the unreachable feast inside.
A girl calls him fat, but he insists he is perfectly proportioned.
Her mother locks the window, telling the girl to ignore the stray cat.
Feeling insulted, the cat huffs about being mistaken for a common stray.
He suddenly recalls that he is a cat from another planet. A loud meow sounds as he calls for the local cats to assemble.
Numerous stray cats gather in the garden to listen to his command.
The group of felines communicates through a series of rhythmic and low meows. He asks the strays if they understand their task to find the man.
The cats disperse in every direction with several quick, overlapping swishes. A loud growl sounds from the hungry cat as he decides to wait.
Looking at the crescent moon, he wonders if his uncle is worried.
The Chu family sits together for dinner in an atmosphere of heavy silence.
Chuyang finds the silence around the dining table to be incredibly uneasy. Qing Feng asks about Chuyang's business plans, and he chooses to stay with Feiya.
Pei Wen notes the close bond between the two men as Feiya eats silently.
She questions why Feiya is starting a new company instead of sharing burdens.
Shang Tian declares his full support for Feiya's independence and career choices. The father asks if Qing Feng will finally help or keep chasing after antiques. Qing Feng smiles and promises to begin sharing the family business responsibilities.
Another awkward silence falls over the table as the brothers avoid eye contact.
Chuyang gives Feiya a quick kick, urging him to speak up against Pei Wen.
A soft rustle sounds as a calico cat watches the family through glass.
The calico cat lets out a curious meow while observing the group inside.
The spy cat disappears into the night with a final quick swish.
Lin Feng expresses joy at finally finding his savior's location.
He huffs in relief after reaching the destination at last.
Feiya bids farewell while a slam signals Chuyang entering a call.
A vroom echoes as Lin Feng panics over missing his chance. He cries out for the car to wait during its departure. Remembering his planet's laws, he resolves never to give up. A bright blue light signals his sudden, powerful charge with a swish.
Another swish sounds as the cat chases the speeding vehicle. A loud swoosh marks the cat's desperate leap through the night. A quick patter sounds as he races across the city streets.
He staggers while huffing in a state of complete physical exhaustion.
A sudden halt occurs as the car stops at a light.
The black cat jumps onto the vehicle with a loud meow.
Feiya sits inside while the cat meows through the grass.
He reacts as the traffic light prepares to turn green again.
Realizing the urgency, he climbs onto the roof to hold tight. A loud vroom sounds as the car wheels begin to spin.
He lets out a desperate meow while sprinting across the roof.
He staggers slightly but finds the ride to be surprisingly pleasant.
Chi-young suggests staying together to avoid an inconvenient commute from suburbs.
Feiya refuses, despite Chu-Yang's worries about his injuries and family.
He dismisses the concern, noting they have already arrived home.
Chu-Yang relents as the car stops before a tall city building.
A snore sounds as Chu-Yang discovers the sleeping cat on top.
Feiya looks out the door, curious about the strange discovery.
He picks up the cat, which reacts with a surprised meow.
Lin Feng begs to be taken in to repay a favor.
The cat meows excitedly while glowing with a sense of joy.
Feiya puts him down, mocking Chu-Yang for being afraid of Seize.
A slam sounds as the man leaves the cat behind again. A vroom echoes while the cat realizes he was just dropped.
He wanders through the city lights, feeling totally drained of energy.
Hungry and weak, he decides to head home before he collapses.
A sudden hiss and woof sound as he meets Haspi.
Both animals stare each other down with a fierce, competitive energy.
A loud meow and woof ring out through the neighborhood.
A screech sounds as the car pulls into the Chu estate.
Feiya winces from a sting of pain as he enters. He decides to shower before attending to his blood-soaked bandages.
A light turns on in the upper floors of the mansion.
A rhythmic patter sounds as the cat rides on the husky. They arrive at the gate and the cat leaps off his ride. A quick sniff and woof confirm they have found a Thet.
He thanks his new friend and promises a feast of food.
Looking at the building, he celebrates finally finding his savior's home. A repetitive scratch sounds as he begs for the doors opening. He wonders if the man is upstairs but remains stuck outside.
The cat begins to wander around the large stone mansion walls. He imagines several swishes as he prepares for a grand entry.
With a determined cry, the cat makes a powerful flying leap.
His paw slips as he fails another attempt to scale the wall.
With a loud bam, the cat falls while crying out in pain.
He wonders if the matriarch was right about his sudden waking. Determined to prove her wrong, he prepares for another desperate leap.
With multiple quick swishes, the cat scales the mansion's tall brick wall.
A surprised meow escapes as his paw suddenly begins to slip again.
While a loud bang sounds against the window, Feiya showers peacefully downstairs. Feiya looks toward the window where the cat is hilariously stuck. Feiya opens the window while the cat lets out confused meows.
The black cat is shocked that the man actually let him in.
Feiya gently puts the cat down on the soft white bang. The cat needs the bed, pleased that his plan is finally working.
Feiya picks up the black cat again as it meows inquisitively.
Holding the cat, the man walks through his spacious modern home.
Feiya warns the cat about the dangers of climbing so high.
The cat sits alone outside, looking incredibly dejected and very sad.
Lin Feng regrets not studying his home planet's laws more piffly.
He worries about being forced to remain on Earth forever.
A soft click sounds as his paw touches the glass window.
A rhythmic patter sounds as Feiya approaches with a small bowl.
Feiya leans down to place the bowl on the green grass.
Feiya pets the cat, assuming it only wanted food all along.
The cat cries out, frustrated that the man misunderstood his intentions.
He licks Feiya's hand, reflecting on the long journey to find him.
Feiya watches silently as the cat continues its affectionate display.
The man remains calm as the feline shows its deep appreciation. A rhythmic licking sound follows as the cat enjoys its meal. After finishing the food, the cat sits beside an empty bowl.
Feiya tells the cat to wait while he heads back inside. Still hungry, the greedy cat demands a serving of fresh meat.
Multiple meows echo while Feiya looks through the open refrigerator. A loud crack sounds as Feiya begins to cook for himself.
Feiya reassures the impatient cat that the food is nearly ready.
A soft chewing sound fills the air as the cat eats. Feiya laughs and tells the cat to return home now. A soft click sounds as the man closes the heavy door.
A splash sounds as the man washes up in the kitchen. Feiya looks around the empty kitchen with a thoughtful expression. He expresses surprise upon finding the plate is completely empty.
A soft thud sounds as Feiya sits with a medical pit.
A soft rustle sounds as he tends to his bandaged arm.
A quick swish sounds as a shadow moves toward the stairs.
Feiya cuts his bandages while the cat watches from the stairs.
He looks back as another quick swish sounds on the stairs. The cat peeks around the hallway while a soft rustle sounds. A soft thud sounds as someone sits down on the bed.
Feiya sits alone on his bed, appearing deep in thought.
Feiya clears his throat while the cat meows at him. An uneasy silence falls as they stare at each other. A soft click sounds as Feiya hopes the guest leaves tomorrow. Curtains rustle softly as the moon shines through the window.
The black cat spent all night following the man and wants to sleep in his warm bed.
A quiet, soft step sounds as he walks onto the bed.
He turns around on the bedding, noting the warmth and begging not to be driven out again.
The black cat sleeps peacefully on the bed in the morning sun. A surprised meow escapes as a hand reaches toward the sleeping cat.
A loud meow sounds as the man reacts with shock and the cat leaps away. The man reaches out, urgently telling the fleeing cat to hold on. A sudden bang sounds as the man hits the wall and cries out in pain. He thinks about his morning meeting and the board members taking action, realizing he cannot afford mistakes. He ponders about those people while looking ahead with a serious expression. The man adjusts his tie while dressing in a dark pinstripe suit. A sizzle sounds as the cat wonders why the man is cooking when he should be rushing to work.
The cat suspects the man is luring him out and holds a grudge about being shut out previously.
A soft click and swish sound as the man leaves through the large doors. A quick click sounds as the cat jumps toward the kitchen. He meows in surprise upon finding food and realizing the man accepted his presence. He happily chews on an egg, deciding he can return whenever he is tired. A soft meow sounds as he chases a butterfly in the garden.
He rolls around on the sofa, leaving dirty paw prints behind.
A click sounds as the cat snores and dreams of meat. The man returns, letting out a surprised shout at the messy sofa. The dark-haired man looks at the cat with a gentle expression. A wagging tail follows as the cat meows at the man. The cat is shocked and begs not to be thrown out while wondering how to be understood. A soft caress follows as the man pets the cat's hack. A rhythmic patter sounds as he carries the cat up the stairs, surprising the feline. Entering the bathroom, the cat wonders if the man intends to bathe him. He is overjoyed, believing the man decided to keep him since he cares about cleanliness. Put down on a towel, the cat begins a rhythmic weed. The man thinks to himself that he has never bathed a cat and is unsure how.
He decides to play it by ear and bathe the dirty cat before sending it away tomorrow. A splash sounds as the man uses a shower head while wondering if he is doing it right.
Another splash sounds as the feline enjoys the warm air.
The man notes the cat is fond of the water as it lets out a happy meow.
A quick press sounds as the man gets some liquid soap. A rhythmic rub follows while the cat enjoys being lathered with soap. The cat notes the man's injury and feels it is worth it to repay such a person.
Looking confident, the cat vows never to let the man get hurt again.
He feels comfortable while imagining his human form being caressed.
The dark-haired man looks down with a calm and thoughtful gaze.
A loud meow sounds as the cat panics over being touched in a missed spot.
A sharp scratch sounds as the cat reacts while the man looks surprised. The man worries about needing a rabies shot while the cat apologizes for the accidental scratch.
On a call, he notes his wounds are recovering and the scratches are not bleeding.
A soft rub sounds as the cat apologizes for the scratch and the complicated wound situation.
A rhythmic lick follows as the man forgives the cat and the cat promises protection.
The man plans to find a new master tomorrow, causing the cat to call him a prick. The cat covers the scratches, pretending he did not do anything. The man brings out a bowl of food for the cat. Fia offers a bowl of milk, which the black cat cautiously sniffs.
After finishing the milk, the cat demands meat and says he is hungry.
Fea wonders why the cat is unhappy despite drinking milk as it meows. The dark-haired man looks at his phone and decides to call Chi Yang.
Fea sits on the couch with the cat while calling Chuyam.
Chu Yang asks if anything happened to Fea again, but he says he is fine. The red-haired man asks what Katsi is talking about. Lin Feng shouts loudly that he wants to eat some meat.
Chu Yang wonders if Fea knows what he is saying since cats love fish. Chu Yang expresses shock over the cat and warns Fea about a conspiracy.
Fea touches his head, realizing his time for work meetings is running out.
A question mark appears as Fea puts the cat down on the cushion.
The cat complains about being given only milk as the man goes upstairs. A soft click sounds as Fea enters his home office to work. A heavy sigh escapes as Fea prepares to start his evening tasks.
Fea worries about his father as the cat pops up behind the Marther.
A soft rub sounds as the cat brushes against Fea's hand.
The cat is shocked that Fea tells him to move away.
A soft press sounds as the cat steps on the man's papus.
A loud slam sounds as Fea shuts the door on the cat. Exhausted at 3 in the morning, Fea lets out a tired sigh.
Fea remembers his father asking the board members to advise his son.
A buzz follows as the board members discuss Fea's return.
He vows to prove his doubters wrong and wait and see. The dark-haired man looks ahead with a determined and focused expression. The cat wanders the hallway, feeling hungry and abandoned by his savior. A soft click sounds as the cat manages to open a cabinet. He finds a box of chocolate and wonders if it is edible.
Starving, he decides that chocolate will have to do for his meal.
A rhythmic chew sounds as the cat enjoys the chocolate treat. His eyes swirl as he realizes it was liqueur chocolate. A wobbly step follows as the drunk cat searches for his savior.
He staggers through the door while calling out to the man.
A rhythmic stagger sounds as he approaches the bed. With a jump, the cat lands on the bed feeling very unwell.
He places his paw on the man's hand, feeling truly awful.
A soft flop follows as a blue light begins to glow.
A hiss sounds as the cat's face flushes from the alcohol.
Dandelions drift under a starry sky as the night passes.
A drip sounds while a black-haired boy wakes up in a field. He sits up and shouts that it is very cold. He looks at his hands, surprised to be in his human form. He wonders where he is, looking at the planets in the sky. Standing in the field, he wonders how he left his savior's bed. He asks if he has finally returned to his home planet. A loud hooray follows as he celebrates going back to the cat planet.
A voice calls out and he turns around in sudden confusion.
He is shocked to see his savior standing in the field. Fea looks at him and asks if they have met before.
The boy panics about bringing a human to the cat lair.
A firm, quick grasp sounds as a hand catches a dark sleeve.
Chufia asks the stranger who he is and what this place is, while the boy worries about being kidnapped in a dream but notes the man does not look like much of a fighter.
Beaming with joy, the boy calls Chufia his savior and reminds him of the time he was almost hit by a car.
Chufia realizes the story rings a bell as he remembers rescuing the boy during a past accident.
A soft loosen sounds as Chufia admits the boy felt familiar from the moment they met in the field.
Chufia asks if he was truly called a savior and introduces himself to the mysterious boy.
Chufia wonders why they are both there since he was just sleeping, while the boy suspects the liqueur chocolate caused their dreams to merge. 2 sharp exclamation marks appear as the boy stares in sudden shock. A low buzz follows as Chufia clutches his head in growing discomfort.
Chufia lets out a pained while struggling with his splitting headache. The boy wonders if the man is waking up and realizes there is one more thing he needs to say before the dream ends.
The boy shouts out a loud "hey" as the dream world begins to fade away.
Chufia sits up on his bed in the morning light with the black cat sitting beside him.
Chufia reflects on his weird dream before letting out a surprised "ha" at the feline.
The black cat mumbles about meat while sleeping soundly on the man's hand. A silver-haired woman asks the cat why he returned home right after his savior left the house.
The cat meows piteously, complaining that he lost weight from starvation because the man would not give him meat.
The woman notes that he hired a doggy taxi to carry him back because he was too hungry to walk on his own. A husky barks a happy woof while trying to lick the woman's outstretched hand.
A sudden thump sounds as the cat lunges at the dog, demanding to know why it thinks it can lick the matriarch.
The cat affectionately rubs against the woman's hand, telling the matriarch how much he missed her and that he is making progress on his mission.
The woman asks the cat for his savior's name, leaving the feline stammering as he tries to recall it.
A light bulb flashes as the cat exclaims the name Chufia, relieved that his memory of the dream held true.
The woman leans forward to ask about the man's occupation and residence, skeptical of the cat's so-called progress after needing a dog to carry him.
The cat excitedly explains how nice his savior is, listing the milk, eggs, baths, and shared bed as proof of their bond.
A quick press follows as the woman pokes the cat's forehead in mild annoyance.
The woman scolds the cat for only eating and sleeping, warning him that his domineering uncle will not be pleased with his performance.
The matriarch orders the cat to return the favor quickly and finish his training despite his fears regarding his uncle.
The cat rides on the husky's back out of the office, calling back that he understands the orders.
The woman summons a man named Kitty Meow, and a massive scarred bodyguard in sunglasses responds with a stoic yes.
Kitty Meow explains that Chufia is a prominent figure as the only son of the Chu Group's boss's first wife.
The silver-haired woman declares that she wants to know every detail about this Chufia.
A soft swish sounds as the matriarch watches from the window while her subordinate acknowledges her command.
A voice announces the end of the meeting at the corporate headquarters as department heads are told to prepare materials.
Chufia dismisses the board members with a cool and professional sound.
Chu Yang approaches with a question, but Chufia suggests they move the discussion to his private office.
Chu Yang collapses into a chair with a relieved pew, glad that the long meeting is finally over.
Chufia enters his office and discusses their upcoming major moves, noting that the board has not fully accepted him as the second son yet. Chufia hangs up his pinstripe jacket and tells Chu Yang to get back to his own work.
Chu Yang pauses, noticing the scratches on Chufeia's arm and asking how he got them.
Chufia remains silent, offering only a small smile as he looks at his wounded arm.
Chu Yang laughs and teases the man, assuming the cat-related questions from earlier were about a human girl in a costume.
A loud slam sounds as Chufia shuts the door, ordering Chu Yang to work overnight for his teasing.
Chufia adjusts his tie while musing about the sharp-clawed little thing and wondering what it is doing now.
Returning home, Chufia wonders why the cat is sleeping in the doorway instead of using the open window he left for it.
The cat leaps toward a delivery box with an excited shout, realizing there is meat inside.
A plate of fresh salmon, meat, and a soft-boiled egg is presented to the hungry animal.
A rhythmic chomp follows as the cat tearfully enjoys the meal, declaring his love for the man who finally gave him meat. Chufia notes that the cat looks happy even though he cannot understand its meows.
The cat vows to repay the kind man for saving his life as he happily finishes his dinner.
The silver-haired woman stretches her arms over her head as a loud meow echoes through the room. Letting out a tired yawn, the woman wonders why a man like Chufia was the one to rescue Lin Feng. The scarred bodyguard stands stoically as he asks the woman if he needs to go and rescue Mr. Lin.
As she throws a document onto the desk, she discusses the internal struggles of the Chu Group and their failing business ventures.
The bodyguard asks if Mr. Lin should repay the Chu family, but the woman explains that Chufeia's true role and relationships are far more complex than they appear.
In a comical moment, she calls Lin Feng a slow-witted brat, while the bodyguard notes that the feline has a big heart.
The silver-haired woman turns toward the window, stating that the real threat is the independent overseas company Chufia founded. Ordering her subordinate to send a document tomorrow, she watches the city lights while the guard acknowledges her command.
While standing shirtless in the bathroom, Chu-Faya wonders about the Fanglian group and their mysterious leader.
Chu-Yang reports over the phone that the Fanglian group has initiated their plans much faster than they had anticipated.
A soft beep sounds as Chu-Faya agrees that it is a great chance and suggests they continue the discussion at the office.
Looking at the mirror, Chu-Faya reflects on the fact that the leader of the Fanglian group is a woman.
The black cat jumps up in excitement, identifying the woman as the matriarch while the man questions their connection.
Chu-Faya notices the cat's intense curiosity as it continues to meow piteously at him.
A soft press follows as Chu-Faya pushes the cat's paw away, telling the animal to worry only about its meals and sleep.
In frantic scratch sounds as the black cat insists that the matriarch's business is his own and demands the man not stop him.
Chu-Faya stares in a stunned, silent sweat at the feline's sudden and overwhelming display of aggression.
The cat immediately switches tactics, looking up with sparkly eyes to pretend it is innocent.
A sudden, loud clang sounds from inside the upscale home in the bright daylight.
Pausing by his car, Chu-Faya looks back at the house and suspects the loud noise originated from the kitchen. He sees the open window but decides everything should be all right before getting into his vehicle.
A soft whoosh sounds as the man drives off, mentally organizing his schedule for the morning and afternoon meetings.
A sudden pop-up of cat ears in the rearview mirror causes Chu-Faya to gasp in surprise.
A sharp screech sounds as the car swerves dangerously on the road while the cat meows from the back key.
Inside the BOS headquarters, Chu-Faya reviews the arrival of an investor named John Sr. and coordinates dinner arrangements. The blonde secretary, Carly, confirms that all preparations for the upcoming corporate meeting are fully ready. Chu-Faya begins to ask his secretary for personal assistance but changes his mind and tells her to return to her work.
A quick click sounds as Chu-Young enters the office, teasingly asking if the man is nervous about meeting the investor's daughter.
Chu-Faya remains silent as he stares ahead against a playful cat-patterned background.
A soft lower his head follows as the man dismisses the teasing, calling the entire situation a minor trifle.
Chu-Yang continues to joke about their childhood friendship and exciting relationships while the man dodges his outstretched hand.
A close-up reveals Chu-Faya's growing annoyance as he reacts silently to his friend's persistent teasing.
A soft click sounds as Chu-Yang leaves, mentioning that the investor's daughter is not coming while Chu-Faya turns to his desk. Looking under his furniture, Chu-Faya realizes exactly who has been making him feel so disturbed.
A firm lift follows as the man picks up the black cat, demanding to know how it managed to sneak into his car.
A rhythmic lick sounds as the cat affectionately brushes against the man's hand while he questions it about the Fanglian group. Chu-Faya tells the cat to be a good boy and promises to have his secretary bring canned food later.
A soft tisk follows as he puts the cat down, wondering why he is taking a conversation with an animal so seriously. The man leaves the office in a hurry while the black cat shouts out its utter hatred for canned food.
A rhythmic dip sounds as the cat decides to taste the coffee left behind on the desk.
Down in the first-floor lobby, an investor named John Stellan arrives accompanied by his bodyguard and secretary.
Chu-Faya greets the energetic investor with a firm handshake while their respective teams stand behind them.
John Stellan praises Chu-Faya as the best business partner, noting that he has heard much about the man's recent successes.
Chu-Faya assures the visitor that their business will not disappoint, while John reiterates his absolute trust in him. The secretary leads the group through the hallways as they head toward the designated meeting area.
A man in a hoodie reports over the phone that Chu-Faya has officially received John Sr. and his retinue.
A brunette woman named Mrs. Chu acknowledges the information with a calm confirmation over her phone.
The scene shifts to the empty conference room where a presentation for men's skincare products is prepared.
Walking into the room, John states that his personal interest in the man outweighs his status as a boss's son. John laughs as he addresses Chu-Yang, noting that despite prior refusals, they are finally sitting down to discuss cooperation. Chu-Yang laughs as he suggests taking seats, privately wondering what scheme John Stellan is currently plotting.
A wide perspective shows the entire team gathered around the conference table.
The brunette secretary pauses in confusion, wondering if anyone else noticed the strange noise in the room.
Chu-Faya remains stoic and silent, his sharp eyes fixed ahead during the intense business meeting. A sudden rise follows as the blonde secretary stands up in shock, questioning the presence of a cat.
Chiang looks on with a confused expression, wondering what caused the secretary's sudden outburst.
The brunette secretary apologizes for possibly hearing things while wondering how a feline entered the conference room.
A sense of relieved calm washes over Chu-Faya as he maintains his professional composure.
Passing the documents, John Sr. requests more reasons to trust the BOS company before entering the domestic market.
Chu-Faya looks up with a resolute gaze, announcing that he has officially changed his mind.
Chu-Yang presents a new folder, declaring that they will now collaborate under the name of the Chu Group.
John Sr. stammers in shock, his eyes widening as he processes the mention of the Chu Group. With a triumphant smile, Chuang introduces his boss as the current CEO and deputy for Chu Shangtian. Chu-Faya leans forward with his hands clasped, asking his old friend if he feels confident enough now. John reflects on his intelligence, shocked that a man isolated for a decade has suddenly become the CEO. A wide, toothy grin spreads across John's face as he admits he truly did not see this coming.
John Sr. throws his arms wide in an energetic gesture, heartily congratulating Fea on the massive surprise.
John finds the situation deeply amusing, noting they are discussing Chu group business within the BOS conference room. Chu Fia remains coolly professional, stating that securing the skincare agency is only the beginning of his plans.
A soft meow echoes from a nearby potted plant where a white paw is visible. A sudden pop-up follows as the cat realizes his savior is the CEO of the rival True Group.
The feline observes the man's cold demeanor, sensing he does not actually like the company he leads.
A rhythmic snore sounds as the cat grows sleepy while waiting for news about the Fanglian group.
A soft click sounds as a gold bracelet is put on the wrist of an elegant woman.
The dark-haired man with a mole asks his mother if she is pleased with his gift.
Mrs. Chu tells her son to focus on performance, warning him that Chu Fea never rests. A quick take follows as the man picks up a teacup, listening to his mother's confess. Mrs. Chu tells her son to show his dad he's a good son while Fea meets with Americans.
With a gentle push, the man encourages his mother to leave for her meeting and not worry.
A soft walk away sounds as the woman leaves, while the man suspects Fea has hidden motives.
Holding the teacup high, the man mockingly declares that even precious treasures are worthless if he says so.
A sudden, loud smash sounds as the porcelain cup is violently shattered against the ground.
The setting sun casts a golden glow over the empty office and skyline.
Carly informs Mr. Chu that the banquet is starting and asks if they are heading downstairs. Chu Fei-ya notices coffee spills and paw prints, telling his secretary to go first.
Reaching into the plant, Chu Fia picks up the sleeping cat and questions its lack of vigilance.
A soft stroke follows as the man tells the cat it must either stay in the office or leave. A firm hold follows as the cat clings to the man's suit, signaling it wants to stay.
Chu Fei-ya sighs about talking to an animal while the cat indignantly cries that it understands him.
Seated in the car, Chuang asks Fea if he believes the old man has decided to cooperate.
Chu Fei-ya looks out the window, mentioning the Chu group is his target, and they haven't mentioned Fanglian.
In the trunk, the cat's eyes shine as it realizes it's outside and wonders about the matriarch.
Shadows and city lights fill the banquet hall as John Sr. officially arrives for the event.
Dressed in formal suits, Chu Fei-ya and Chu Yang look on with a sudden sense of surprise.
A blonde woman in a pink dress named Pacey Stellan approaches and greets Fea by name.
Chu Yang teases Fea about the daughter's arrival, jokingly telling his friend to try and protect himself.
Pacey makes a playful approach while Fea tries to peep away.
John laughs about the young people dating while Pacey huffs at her father about her obvious feelings.
Pacey leans close with a smile while Fea insists they have only ever met one time before.
Looking into his eyes, Pacey suggests she can visit him whenever he likes, even later tonight.
Chu Fei-ya holds a glass of red wine, offering a formal toast to the investor's father.
Pop-up sounds as the cat watches, calling the business people hypocrites for their close physical contact.
Frantically patting the counter, the cat complains about starving while his savior remains completely oblivious.
Surrounded by savory food, the cat gripes that the man only cares about the blonde lady.
Pacey Stellan leans in close to Chu Fei-ya, who looks stoic while holding his wine glass.
Ahem, a sudden throat-clearing sound interrupts the pair as Chu Yang watches them with a surprised expression. Chu Yang apologizes for the interruption, claiming he has urgent business as Chu Fei-ya walks away.
A loud bang sounds as Pacey slams her glass down, accusing Chu Yang of stalking Fei-ya. The black cat freezes in shock as the blonde woman notices him behind the bar. Pacey mocks the idea of a fortune cat, while the feline insults the puny Terran's intelligence. A soft clink sounds as toasts are made, and Chu Fei-ya instructs Chu Yang to see the guests out. The black cat looks utterly exhausted, wondering when the long banquet will finally come to an end.
Sniffing a glass of clear liquid, the cat curiously wonders if it is just plain water.
Realizing the liquid is actually wine, the cat's eyes glow as he lets out a shocked cry. Knockover sounds as the intoxicated cat stumbles across the bar and spills the wine.
A wine glass wobbles precariously on the very edge of the high bar counter.
Meow, the dizzy cat reaches out as the glass begins its inevitable fall toward the ground.
Catch, a firm hand reaches out and successfully grabs the glass before it can shatter.
Chu Fei-ya looks down at the cat, calling it a naughty thing for causing such trouble. Chu Yang enters the room, mentioning the chauffeur is waiting and asking if they should leave together.
Psh! Chu Fei-ya gestures for silence as he looks at the cat resting on the counter.
A soft swoosh sounds as the man hides the cat inside his jacket, complaining about the heat.
Chu Fei-ya quickly buttons his shirt, hoping he is hiding the animal well enough from his friend.
Whoosh, the car speeds off as the man silently pleads for the cat to remain quiet. Chu Yang discusses the meeting's success and wonders if Feia's stepmother is already planning a board meeting attack.
Lift follows as Chu Fei-ya laughs, noting his stepmother has been attacking since the day he returned.
Chu Yang tries to inspect Feia's arm, but the man sternly orders him not to touch him.
A tiny white paw reaches out from inside the man's suit jacket, completely unnoticed by Chu Yang. Chu Yang questions why Fei is being so distant despite them having grown up together as friends.
Chu Fia asks if his friend was closer to Chu Qingfeng before he moved abroad years ago.
Chu Yang admits they were close as children, but finds Qingfeng's current behavior and smile quite creepy. Feiya remains silent, hoping Qingfang stays focused on antiques and out of the group's power struggle.
Chuyang worries about Feiya's health and asks why he won't stay at his place for the cat.
Open eyes follow as Feiya declines the offer, stating he is used to being alone and needs nothing.
Resting his hand on his lap, Feiya coldly repeats that he has no interest in keeping cats.
Hiding beneath the fabric, the black cat looks visibly saddened by the man's harsh, dismissive words. The setting sun fades as the scene shifts to the exterior of the grand upscale home.
Back in his bedroom, Feiya begins unbuttoning his shirt to prepare for the night ahead. The cat sits on the discarded clothes, feeling sick from the wine and complaining about the lack of meat.
Button up follows as Feiya tells the cat he will find someone else to keep him tomorrow.
A top-down perspective reveals true Feiya sleeping soundly in his large bed while the cat rests nearby.
Stagger sounds as the cat Linfeng declares his noble heritage and refuses to need any human help.
Despite his pride, the cat curls up against the sleeping man and begs not to be driven away.
Several cat-eared hot air balloons float through the bright, clear blue sky of a new day.
In a dream, a black-haired boy looks over his hometown and spots his uncle fishing in the distance. Covered in sweat, the boy panics about his unfinished training and fears his uncle's inevitable physical punishment.
Shocked, the boy's eyes widen as he questions the sudden and surprising mention of his savior.
In the grassy field, a man in a t-shirt approaches the long-haired fisherman sitting by the water.
Jump! A sudden movement occurs as the boy attempts to escape the unfolding dream scenario.
Light-footed, the boy tumbles across the rooftops of his colorful hometown while shouting in a frantic panic. A hand reaches out as the dream sequence continues.
Linfeng screams in a sudden panic as he falls through the air.
Feiya catches the falling boy, who quickly vanishes from the scene.
Feiya breaks into a cold sweat while processing the sudden disappearance. Grasping his wrist, Feiya pins Linfeng and silences him pathetic.
Feiya leans in close to the boy, who lets out a muffled cry. Feiya asks if they are dreaming, noting they have met here once before. Giving his cheek a pinch, Feiya asks why the boy is in his dreams.
Linfeng wonders why the man is so different from his real-life selves.
With a wide grin, the boy asks the man to release his arm.
Linfeng greets his savior formally, while Feiya wonders why he seems so familiar.
Linfeng complains to himself about the law preventing him from revealing his identity. Feiya demands to know why they keep meeting each other within his dreams. Claiming to be a wizard, Linfeng explains his cat followed the man home.
Feiya remains silent as the boy finishes his clearly suspicious and simplistic story.
Rubbing his forehead, Feiya assumes his recent stress is causing these strange visions.
Feiya laughs, telling the boy he looks like his cat when he's edgy.
Pushing his hand away, Linfeng insists he knows exactly what happened in Feiya's office.
Feiya grabs the boy's jacket, demanding to know if he has been spying.
A sudden sounds as Feiya's chest tightens, forcing him to let go.
Fearing the man will wake up, Linfeng begs him to stay for the nurse.
The scene shifts back to the quiet bedroom where the night air is salad.
Feiya sleeps fitfully while the heavy black cat rests directly on his chest.
A low groan sounds as Feiya struggles against the weight of the animal.
Letting out a meow, the cat slips away, finally allowing the man to breathe.
Whew, Feiya exhales in relief as the tightness in his chest suddenly vanishes.
Back in the dream world, Linfeng hugs the man tightly among falling petals. The dreamscape reveals a vast green field beside a pier with docked boats.
A rhythmic heartbeat sounds as the boy clings to the man's white t-shirt.
Relieved he hasn't woken up, Linfeng prepares to deliver his very important message.
Feiya looks down at the boy in silence, listening to the rhythmic sounds.
Feiya asks how a stranger could possibly know what happened inside his company.
A loud bang sounds as the boy hits the man, calling him a total idiot.
Linfeng explains his cat was the one watching and asks to be believed.
Looking pitiful, Linfeng holds the man's hands and begs for his trust.
Feiya agrees to trust him, thinking that his decisions in dreams do not matter.
Overjoyed, Linfeng leads the man away as Feiya asked for his name.
The boy turns back with a soft expression as the dream world blows.
The boy introduces himself as Linfeng, comparing his name to a maple tree.
Pointing to a massive tree, Linfeng invites his savior to visit his home.
Feiya stares ahead in silence, processing the boy's strange and magical claims.
Linfeng excitedly spots fish while Feiya holds him back, warning him to be careful. Standing in a balloon, Linfeng suggests flying while Feiya questions his magic skills. The pair eats human mint, leaving Feiya feeling extremely dizzy and confused. Arriving at a house under a red maple, Linfeng announces they are home. Feiya asks the boy to finally reveal the important thing he wanted to say. Linfeng begs the man to adopt his cat, promising to fulfill a wish. To himself, the boy celebrates his intelligence for finding a way to repay the favor. Stroking the boy's hair, Feiya agrees to take care of the cute little cat. Linfeng beams with a thankful smile, promising the cat will be very well behaved. Within the dream, Feiya insists the present is enough, frustrating the boy who offered him a wish.
The boy asks to show his home and the man kindly agrees to help open the door. A look of surprise crosses the boy's face as the door opens with a sudden radiant light.
The boy begins to fade away as he and Feiya share a final moment in the dream. Awakening in his bed, Feiya finds the black cat resting peacefully atop the covers beside him. Gazing at the animal, the man finds the entire situation to be quite interesting.
The scene shifts to the towering exterior of the prestigious Fanglian company headquarters. From high above the city, Director Q confirms their upcoming collaborative meeting at the BOS offices. A confident, knowing smile plays on Director Q's lips as she contemplates the upcoming business encounter. Tires screech against the pavement as a quick vroom sounds from the speeding black car. While driving, Chufeya struggles with his lack of pet experience as the cat insists on riding shotgun.
The cat rejoices, believing his savior has finally accepted him after their encounter within the dream world. Comparing the man's real-life indifference to his dream world gentleness, the cat feels a pang of sudden jealousy.
Sweating with anxiety, the feline wonders if Chufeya only likes the human version of himself.
A question mark appears over Chufeya's head as he asks the frantic, meowing cat what he's thinking.
Arriving at their destination, the cat realizes with growing dread that they are not at the office. The cat's eyes widen in shock as a quick click sounding marks the car door unlocking. Despite his promise to the owner, Chufeya explains they must visit the animal hospital for vaccinations. Terrified, the cat protests the medical visit and declares his sudden hatred for his savior.
Chufeya carries the grumpy, trembling feline toward the entrance as the narrative notes the animal's fear. At the reception desk, the man looks momentarily stunned when asked to provide the pet's name.
The cat reacts with visible anger when Chufeya tentatively suggests naming him Mimi. A series of furious meows follow as the man suggests the name Xiaohei instead.
Upon hearing the name Xiaofang, the cat's eyes sparkle with immediate and joyous approval.
Finalizing the registration, the man writes down the cat's new name while crossing out his previous attempts.
A nervous woo escapes the cat as the vet begins his physical examination with a firm rub.
The black cat lets out a shocked cry as the vet prepares for a temperature check.
Medical tools fly through the air as a chaotic dong and bang sound within the small room.
Following the struggle, the cat successfully lands atop the blade of the high ceiling fan. Looking up at the growling animal, Chufeya offers a sheepish apology for his pet's naughty behavior. After the ordeal, the man wonders if all cats are this grudgeful while the vaccinated feline sulks. Thinking of the hospital trauma, the cat weeps while Chufeya promises him chicken drumsticks for dinner. The bright morning sun illuminates the exterior of the impressive BOS company building. Preparing to meet clients, Chufeya instructs the cat to remain in the office and rest. Chibi Chufeya opens the fridge to show the cat his food, appearing fully accustomed to their conversations.
As a click sounds from the closing door, the cat decides it's time to summon his allies.
Tears stream down the cat's face as Director Q asks what could possibly be wrong.
Wailing loudly, the cat complains that his savior was fake and subjected him to a vet's needle.
Director Q questions why he is being so sincere about repaying a favor for a human.
A sudden click sounds as a scarred man enters, reporting that tomorrow's negotiations are fully prepared. The man happily spins the cat around, expressing how much he has missed his small friend.
The scarred man asks if Director Chu intends to help her benefactor deal with his father's company.
Winking at the cat, the blonde woman tells him to simply wait and watch tomorrow's dramatic show.
The next day, a security guard frantically calls for a supervisor as an unusual situation develops downstairs.
A soft rustle sounds as Director Q leads a massive wall of imposing bodyguards into the lobby.
Fixing his tie, Chu Qingfeng asks his assistant if the representatives from Fanglian have finally arrived.
With a confident stride, the red-haired man announces he will personally welcome the visiting delegation.
A sudden ding sounds as Chu Qingfeng exits the elevator and stops dead in his tracks. The red-haired man is nearly crushed as he accidentally bumps into the wall of giant security personnel.
Sweating profusely, Chu Qingfeng questions if these people are truly collaborators or some sort of dark force.
Sweating with visible anxiety, the female employee tells the bespectacled man that they are counting on the vice dictator. Arriving with a massive entourage of suited men, the silver-haired woman announces themselves as the special representatives of the Fanglian group. Staring forward with a sharp gaze, the silver-haired woman questions if the man before her is the vice director of BOS.
A sudden, rhythmic thump sounds as the red-haired man's heart races, surrounded by floating pink hearts.
Within a sudden daydream, the red-haired man imagines himself at a wedding ceremony with the silver-haired woman.
The romantic fantasy continues as the red-haired man envisions himself and the silver-haired woman holding a newborn baby.
In the final vision, the pair stands together as an elderly couple watching a sunset.
Radiant with excitement, Zhang Chuyang welcomes the group to BOS and introduces himself as the person in charge of the reception.
A soft shake a little sounds as the red-haired man wags his imaginary tail while greeting Wu Xingyan. Sitting in his office, Chufeya asks if Chu Yang went to receive the guests and if the lounges are ready. Peeking toward the corner, the blonde assistant assures Mr. Chu that everything for the meeting has been arranged. The blonde assistant stares in stunned silence as the black cat begins to lick its leg. Looking sparkly and determined, the black cat meows and expresses his desire to attend the meeting with the vice president.
A gentle pat sounds as Chufeya strokes the meowing cat.
After a quick cough, Chufeya instructs his nervous assistant to take the necessary documents to the conference room.
A quick lift sounds as the dark-haired man asks the cat if he intends to sneak into the conference room again.
Letting out a soft meow, the cat affectionately licks the man's face.
Looking down with a gentle expression, Chufeya quietly agrees to the animal's request.
Within the reception room, a meow sounds as a group of massive bodyguards begins acting like strange, oversized felines.
Director Q asks Sanpang what happened, noting that he nearly made the receptionist cry with his behavior.
Plucking petals from a four-leaf clover, the large man in sunglasses admits that he knows he was in the wrong.
The scarred man explains that he told everyone to control their expressions until they finally meet Chufeya.
Opening the door, Zhang Chuyang invites the Fanglian representatives to the conference room where Mr. Chu is waiting.
Standing with her arms crossed, Director Q agrees to move as her team lines up behind her. A soft meow sounds as Chufeya tells the cat to stay put and enjoy the sunlight in the potted plant.
While the blonde assistant pretends to tidy up, Chufeya watches her with a suspicious and silent gaze.
Zhang Chuyang introduces the guests, noting that Mr. Chu has arrived and presenting Fanglian Group's Director Q.
Standing before the group's aggressive aura, Zhang Chuyang introduces the rest of the team representatives.
Director Chu sits at the long table in silence, flanked by her wall of bodyguards. Across the table, Chufeya maintains a stoic and silent composure during the tense encounter. The red-haired man beams with a happy face amidst falling pink flower petals.
Sweating with awkwardness, the blonde assistant wonders if she is the only one who finds the atmosphere uncomfortable.
A meow sounds within the quiet conference room as the two parties sit across from one another.
Smiling through her stress, the blonde assistant realizes she is facing the biggest career crisis of her life. A soft rustle sounds as the scarred bodyguard moves closer to the large green plant.
The blonde assistant lets out a shocked gasp as the red-haired man looks on with a confused frown.
Chufeya glares at the scarred man who is holding the black cat, angrily telling him that he scared his pet.
Looking skeptical, Director Q thinks the man seems ominous and suspects he has been bullying their friend, Lin.
A soft rustle sounds as the silver-haired woman puts down her hands to take the cup.
A joyous meow sounds as the cat introduces Director Q to his savior, calling her the leader of his planet. Content while being petted, the cat tells Director Q that he always said his savior was a good person.
Sweating, the bodyguards think Lin needs to wake up, as the dark-haired man's cold gaze doesn't look very kind.
A rhythmic top-top sounds as Chufeya beckons the cat to come back to him.
A loud meow sounds as the cat leaps onto the table, causing Zhang Chuyang to ask where the fat animal came from.
Looking completely exasperated, Director Q asks the red-haired man if he is just now noticing the cat. While the cat fumes about being called fat, Chufeya apologizes for his pet being a bit ill-behaved.
Zhang Chuyang is stunned, wondering if the man was actually raising a real cat instead of a maid.
Sweating profusely, the assistant wonders how much longer they plan on talking about cats during a business meeting.
Wiping his hands, a long-haired man listens as an aide reports that the second young master brought a cat to work. The long-haired man lets out a curious sound while narrowing his eyes at the news.
Playing with a jade figurine, Chu Qingfeng ponders if his second brother is truly such an interesting person.
Within the conference room, the blonde assistant presents the project files to Director Chu for her review.
Maintaining his stoic mask, Chufeya sits across from his business rivals with the black cat resting on his lap. His attention diverted, the red-haired man peeks over toward the intimidating guests with a nervous expression.
Still peeking, Zhang Chuyang wonders if the situation is real while the black cat sleeps soundly nearby. A sudden boom sounds as the red-haired man reacts in shock, his composure completely shattered by the tension.
Whispering behind his hand, the scarred man suggests to Director Q that the vice president might be seriously ill.
Looking down at his frantic partner, Chufeya asks if the red-haired man is finally awake to the situation.
Seizing his performance opportunity, Zhang Chuyang lets out a quick ahem as he prepares to present the skincare series.
The meeting continues with a series of blah sounds as the red-haired man delivers his lengthy, enthusiastic pitch.
With the presentation concluded, the silver-haired woman extends her hand to signify a potential agreement between the groups.
Following the handshake, Chufeya expresses his hope for a happy collaboration as the red-haired man celebrates the future. Perched on the table, the black cat lets out a confused meow as the business documents are collected.
Director Chu informs the team that she only gave in for the cat's sake, requesting a modified contract.
Suddenly waking up from his nap, the black cat is shocked to realize the business meeting is already over.
Leaping for a hug, the cat is told the promotional video for the skincare line must be produced by Fanglian.
While Zhang Chuyang praises the woman's beauty, Chufeya feels a jealous sting that his pet chose her hug.
Clinging to the cat, Director Q adds one more condition before they can discuss the specific profit points.
The silver-haired woman insists on producing the video, while the cat eagerly offers to be the star.
Pressing the cat's face gently, Director Q confirms her cooperation is solely motivated by her small feline friend.
A sudden dong sounds as the silver-haired woman playfully tosses the black cat back toward Chufeya. Catching his pet, the man questions the rough treatment while the cat promises to make the video look good. Watching the odd display, the scarred man and his associate share a wired and complex feeling about the group. As they depart, Zhan Chuyang is ignored while Director Q thanks the man for taking good care of the cat.
Relaxing after the long day, a shirtless Chufeya listens as his pet meows affectionately in their private room.
Letting out a tired pew, the man rests in bed while reflecting on the successful collaboration with Fanglian. Hearing his name called, Xiaofeng is startled as Chufeya reaches out toward him on the bed.
The cat meows happily, informing his savior that the advertisement they worked on has won a grand prize.
Noting the animal's high spirits, the man gently pets the cat while asking why he is so happy today. The peaceful moment is interrupted by a phone call from his father, which the man answers with a serious face. His father mentions an upcoming birthday dinner, prompting the man to question if his mother really sent the invitation. Arriving at the Chu family's main house, the family members gather for a formal and quiet dinner together. Ignoring the humans, the black cat licks a plate of meat pudding and wonders why the others aren't eating. A loud ram sounds as the door slams open, announcing the arrival of the energetic younger brother. Wearing his headphones, the brown-haired youth stares forward with a blunt and initially unimpressed expression. His face lighting up, the boy greets his second eldest brother and asks if he has finally returned home. A sudden bow-wow sounds as a large husky appears, surprising the cat with his boisterous and friendly presence. Looking visibly anxious, Chufeya wonders if the cat and the dog will start fighting right then and there. To everyone's surprise, the pair is extremely harmonious as the cat playfully rides atop the happy husky's back. Noting that his third brother has grown taller, Chufeya listens as the youth admits the house was boring. Scolding the boy, the mother asks why he ignored his father and eldest brother upon entering the room. Reverting to a chibi form, the boy complains that he was never informed about his second brother's return. Smiling, Chu Qingfeng notes that Chufei's character is so good that both animals and brothers follow him. Bonding over their shared caretaker, the cat and dog decide they are now part of the same family. Annoyed by the noise, the mother coldly orders the pets to be taken out to the balcony immediately. A loud bop sounds as the younger brother slams the table, defending his right to eat with his brother. With a stern look, the father tells everyone to stop the bickering and simply have their meal. The group falls into a heavy silence as the family continues their dinner in a strained and awkward atmosphere. Looking through the glass door, the pets wonder if their benefactor is actually unwelcome in his own home. Deciding he has had enough, Chufeya tells his father he must leave while his eldest brother offers an escort. The older man praises his son's business success despite the pressure from family shareholders. Chufeya apologizes to his father while asserting his desire to handle business his own way. The older man sighs, admitting that the family business is not worthy of retaining his son. Looking up, the black cat realizes that his benefactor is not respected within his own home. The black cat vows to support Chufeya even if the man becomes unemployed. Chufeya looks down in silence as he reacts to the animal's sudden affectionate display. A soft meow sounds as the dark-haired man gently takes the cat's white paw. A single question mark appears as the father and son walk away through the hallway. A man finds a pearl earring on the floor and questions its origin. Chufeya departs in a car while his parents watch from the distance. The mother waves goodbye while acknowledging the departure of the second mother. The long-haired man offers a small jade figurine as a special gift for the black cat. Looking out the car window, Chufeya maintains a stern and hateful expression. The black cat sits quietly in the car while holding on to the small jade gist.
Noting his pet's distress, Chufeya asks Xiaofeng why he is so upset.
The black cat fears that something terrible is about to happen following their departure. High beams flash from a massive truck as a sudden and shocking warning appears. The car narrowly avoids a terrifying collision while speeding down the dark road. A news report highlights the successful market launch of the BII skincare brand. A quick snap sounds as photographers capture the grand ribbon-cutting event for the brand.
Chufeya ceremoniously cuts the ribbon as celebratory flower petals fall around him.
A reporter emphasizes the rare and significant public appearance of the two powerful Chu brothers. Chufeya and the long-haired man share a formal handshake on the stage. Reporters swarm the brothers with questions about Director Chu's health and the CEO succession.
A quick creak sounds as the silver-haired woman observes the press event from a doorway.
A heavy thud sounds as Director Q questions if Chufeya is only helping others.
The woman admits she sacrificed profit for the sake of her friend Lin Feng. The black cat dreams of meat while the woman worries about his financial future. The red-haired man approaches Director Q as she prepares to leave the event venue. Director Q informs the vice director that she is departing now that her work is finished. Zhan Chuyang attempts to invite the silver-haired woman to dinner to express his gratitude. Director Q speeds up to avoid the man's persistent and unwanted dinner invitation. A server warns the woman to be careful as they nearly collide in the hallway. Zhan Chuyang quickly grabs the woman's arm to prevent her from falling near the server. Letting out an annoyed tsk, the silver-haired woman glares at the red-haired man. A quick scratch sounds as Director Q pulls away and orders the man to release her. The woman walks away while the server apologizes for the narrow collision.
Rubbing a fresh mark on his chin, the red-haired man wonders why the scratch feels familiar.
The long-haired Chu Qingfeng greets his partner at the door of a guest room. Putting down a mirror, Zhang Chuyang asks his colleague if the interviews are finally over.
Chu Qingfeng notices the mark on Zhang Chuyang's chin and questions what happened to him.
Reverting to a chibi form, the red-haired man reflects on the familiar and annoying scenario.
Chu Qingfeng laughs, leaving the collaboration to his brother while asking about their life abroad.
Zhang Chuyang dismisses the past and asks how Chu Qingfeng handles their mother's influence.
A soft meow sounds as Chu Feiya relaxes with his cat in a separate guest room.
The black cat excitedly tells his savior about his creative ideas for the first advertisement.
Chu Feiya warns Xiaofeng to behave and avoid causing trouble at his house.
Zhang Chuyang and Chu Qingfeng enter, with the eldest brother insisting on seeing the pet. The long-haired man smiles warmly while admiring the adorable black cat on his brother's shoulder.
The cat wonders about the stranger's identity while feeling proud of being recognized as cute.
A formal dinner setting is established as the family gathers at the Chu residence.
While the humans remain silent, the black cat enjoys his delicious dish of fish pudding.
Wearing headphones, the orange-haired youth stares forward with a blunt and unimpressed expression. Mrs. Chu suggests checking on the young master when a loud bang sounds as the boy enters with a barking dog. His face lighting up, the boy greets his second brother and asks if he has finally returned home.
A boisterous husky surprises the black cat as he lets out a series of friendly barks.
Looking visibly anxious, Chu Feiya wonders if the cat and dog will start fighting right then and there. To everyone's relief, the pair is extremely harmonious as the cat playfully rides atop the happy husky's back.
Chu Feiya notes his brother's growth while the youth admits the mood in the house is boring.
The mother scolds the boy for only greeting his second brother and lacking manners toward the rest.
Chu Qingfeng notes that Chu Feiya is popular enough that both animals and his younger brother follow him.
The cat realizes the dog was raised by his savior's brother, declaring they are now part of the same family.
Annoyed by the noise, the mother coldly orders the pets to be taken out to the balcony immediately.
A loud bang sounds as the younger brother slams the table, defending his right to be with his brother. The group falls into a heavy silence as the family continues their dinner in a strained and awkward atmosphere. Deciding he has had enough, Chu Feiya tells his father he is leaving while the older man offers an escort.
The father praises his son's successful project despite the pressures coming from the rest of the family members.
Chu Feiya apologizes to his father while asserting his desire to handle business according to his own ideas. The older man sighs, admitting that the family business is not suitable for retaining his talented son.
The black cat realizes that his benefactor is not respected and that the mother runs the household.
Clinging to his chin, the black cat vows to support Chu Feiya even if the man becomes unemployed.
A soft meow sounds as the dark-haired man affectionately takes the black cat's white paw.
A soft click sounds as a servant finds a pearl earring on the floor and questions its origin. Chu Feiya departs in a car while his parents watch the departure from a distance. The mother waves goodbye while acknowledging the departure of her second son.
The long-haired brother offers a small jade figurine as a special gift for the black cat.
The black cat sits quietly in the car while holding onto the small jade gift with a sad look.
Noting his pet's distress, Chu Feiya asks Xiaofeng why he is acting so worried today.
The black cat fears that something terrible is about to happen following their departure from the mansion.
A sudden swish sounds as high beams flash from a massive truck appearing on the dark road.
A blinding flash fills the scene as the truck closes the distance toward the small car.
Chu Feiya winces as the intense light of the truck stings his viz and blinds his vision.
A loud meow sounds as the cat tenses up in sheer terror as the vehicle approaches.
The black cat screams a warning that the truck is going to crash and tells his savior to dodge.
With a frantic and pained expression, Chu Feiya struggles to maintain control of the speeding car.
A bright light emanates from the cat as Chu Feiya calls out his name in desperation.
A loud bang sounds as the massive truck collides with the car in a terrifying accident.
Amidst the crash, a mysterious figure holds Chu Feiya tightly to protect him from the impact.
A sharp shatter sounds as glass fragments fall around a bleeding hand gripped tightly in the wreck.
A heavy bump sounds as the car is forced off the dark road and into the surrounding trees.
A soft drip sounds as blood begins to fall onto the pavement in the heavy silence following the crash.
Waking up dazed and bleeding, Chu Feiya is shocked to realize he is still alive after the collision. Looking up, the man stares in confusion at the pale and bare shoulder of someone beside him. Chu Feiya is stunned to see a young boy in his arms and calls out the name Xiaofeng.
Despite his injuries, the boy wonders if his savior is okay and feels relieved to see him awake.
Floating in a daze, the boy regrets his past weakness and wishes he had listened longing to his uncle. Chu Feiya questions the boy's identity with a look of pure disbelief while holding his bloodied face. Hugging the youth tightly, the man realizes the truth and regrets that the boy risked his life for him.
Recalling a past promise, the man tells the boy he only wants to keep taking care of him.
A pained ugh sounds as the man uses his phone to desperately call for emergency assistance. A city skyline glows as a quick rush sounds through the night. Inside the car, Chu Feiya holds the bloodied boy in a daze. A phone rings out as a call is placed to Chiangzan.
Zhang Chuyang answers the phone while busy playing his video games.
Sweating, Chu Feiya tells Chu Young to bring Dr. Wales to the hospital.
Zhang Chuyang quickly starts changing clothes while questioning the sudden emergency call.
Chu Feiya sarcastically notes he survived a deadly gift from his enemies.
Xiaofeng reassures his savior that he is fine despite his injuries.
A thought suggests that the enemies should pray for the boy's recovery.
Chu Feiya maintains a stern expression while protecting the unconscious youth.
An ambulance siren whoops as it arrives at the dark accident scene.
Chu Feiya asks Xiaofeng to recover and remember his granted wish. Mr. Wales, the private doctor, enters the hospital room with a report.
The doctor informs Chu Young that the patient is healing at an incredible speed.
Chu Feiya sits alone, distressed by the mystery of their survival. Mr. Wales encourages Zhang Chuyang to try and comfort his grieving friend.
Zhang Chuyang suggests changing clothes while mentioning the boy's stable condition.
Chu Feiya remains silent and stoic while processing the night's events.
Looking at his blood-stained palm, Chu Feiya reflects on Xiaofeng's bravery.
Standing up, Chu Feiya insists on waiting until the boy finally awakens.
Zhang Chuyang departs while admiring the handsome appearance of the mysterious youth.
Chu Feiya stops his friend to give him one last important instruction.
The man orders Zhang Chuyang to investigate the Chu family stock movements.
Chu Feiya watches silently as his colleague turns and leaves the hallway.
Zhang Chuyang wonders if they are officially proceeding with their secret plan.
A soft clack sounds as Chu Feiya enters the private hospital ward. The man gazes at Xiao Feng lying unconscious in the hospital bed.
Chu Feiya sits by the bed, hoping he appears in the boy's dreams.
He recalls Xiao Feng's claim of being a wizard with magical powers. Chu Feiya's hand slides across the bed towards the resting youth.
The man lies down next to Xiao Feng to share his lask.
He asks the little wizard to bring him into his dream world.
A rushing sha sounds as Chu Feiya finds himself near a massive waterfall. The man spots a quiet pavilion nestled within the lush dream forest.
Chu Feiya approaches the pavilion and calls out to the seated youth.
The man pulls Xiaofeng into a deep and protective embrace.
Xiaofeng blinks in surprise while questioning the presence of his savior.
Reverting to chibi form, Xiaofeng worries his magic has malfunctioned again.
Chu Feiya reassures the boy that he chose to come here himself.
The man admits he went to great lengths just to see him.
Xiaofeng reassures him, claiming cats possess incredible natural recovery powers.
Chu Feiya leans in close, affirming his complete trust in the boy.
The pair rests together peacefully in the quiet of the hospital ward.
A soft kiss is placed on the sleeping boy's forehead by Chu Feiya.
The man's eyes blink open as he returns to the wakened world.
Xiaofeng asks for help in informing the matriarch about the Inzir.
Chu Feiya touches the boy's face, pleading for him to wake up quickly.
A click sounds as Chu Feiya discusses the negotiators from the Fanglian group.
A loud ring sounds as a phone vibrates on a wooden surface.
A white cat looks up curiously as the phone continues to ring.
Swirling light and long white hair signal the start of a transformation.
A soft sound of her picking up the phone as the white-haired woman asks who is calling.
Hearing news of Xiaofeng's injuries, the woman realizes she is speaking to Chu Feiya.
The dark-haired man explains the boy's condition and asks for help waking him up.
Chu Feiya asks if she shares the boy's species and offers to do anything necessary.
The woman reacts with shock that he would take the boy to a human hospital.
Chu Feiya explains his private ward is secure, earning the woman's approval for his composure.
She notes the boy returned a favor and mentions her brother would have intervened otherwise.
The woman warns him to keep others away in case of transformation while he agrees.
She instructs him to leave vinegar-soaked whitefish by the bed, and he promises the freshest.
Chu Feiya is instructed to wash the boy meticulously twice a day to aid recovery.
The dark-haired man cradles the sleeping youth with a look of deep, silent concern.
A moment of tenderness follows as the man carries the boy through the quiet ward.
A quick drag sound follows as he gently places the youth back onto the bed.
A soft kiss is pressed against the lips of the resting and unconscious boy.
A loud bang sounds as the father enters with his cane, startling the family members. The father orders his son to leave so he can speak privately with his wife.
The mother asks Changfeng to step out, sensing the weight of her husband's intense anger.
Visible rage fills the older man as he asks if she orchestrated the son's attack.
A loud whack sounds as the father strikes the table, accusing her of being heartless. He confronts her about wanting Feiya dead despite always getting exactly what she wanted. Calling her a vicious witch, the older man collapses onto the sofa in pure distress. The mother admits she wanted more and hates that the company is for her stepson. The father laughs bitterly at the family secrets that forced Feiya into a lower role.
He let out a long sigh while sitting amidst the debris of the shattered table.
A soft clack sounds as the mother leaves, determined to secure the company for Changfeng. With a sinister smile, the brown-haired woman declares that Chu Feiya must finally die.
A playful doodle mocks the mother, depicting her as a clown with sharp devil horns. Quick steps sound as a man in a formal suit walks through the office doors.
An assistant warns the mother about massive stock purchases, suspecting a short sell ploy against them. Board members demand to see the chairman while the secretary tries to manage their outrage.
The mother claims the chairman is recovering and dismisses their concerns about the volatile stocks.
Overwhelmed by paperwork, Zhang Chuyang begs his friend over the phone to return home soon.
A loud smack sounds as the exhausted youth collapses on his desk during a meeting.
A soft clack sounds as Chufeya enters, telling his friend to hold on longer.
A soft sound of him placing a plate lightly as he promises to be finished soon.
Chufeya confirms their overseas plans are set while Chuyang looks after the business affairs.
Chuyang asks about the car crash investigation, noting the culprits didn't even hide the evidence.
He claims to have enough evidence to jail Zhang Peimin as a suspect confesses everything.
Chufeya wipes his hands, wanting his enemies to bleed over the company's eventual fall. He vows to strike back by destroying the company as dark energy spreads around him.
Chuyang asks to be present for the auction and inquires if Xiaofang has awakened.
A look of sadness crosses the man's face as he admits the boy hasn't woken.
A quick rap sound as a fluffy black tail suddenly coils around the man's arm.
In a flurry of flowers, the boy with caught ears appears, looking bright and healthy.
Xiaofeng is surprised to be human again while a tail retracts in the background.
The man hugs the youth tightly, calling out his name as they both laugh together.
Chufei is overcome with relief that the boy has finally woken up from sleep. A soft pat-pat sounds as Xiaofeng happily confirms their species' incredible recovery powers.
The boy sways in the man's arms, finding the warm embrace strangely and wonderfully familiar.
Panicked, the chibi catboy lets out a loud, sweating shout of meow.
Chufeya touches the boy's head, noting that his ears have returned as well.
A sudden meow erupts as the chibi youth realizes his transformation is glitching again.
Xiaofeng stares in the mirror, touching his ears with a look of utter confusion.
Looking down at himself, the boy realizes with shock that he has no clothes on.
With an embarrassed meow, the boy dives under the covers to hide from his savior.
Chufeya reaches toward the bed, asking the hiding youth if he wants fresh fish.
A fluffy tail curls around the man's arm while he smiles at the boy's hunger.
Zhang Chuyang stares at his phone, baffled by why his friend suddenly hung up on him.
Happy eating sounds fill the air as Xiaofeng devours multiple pieces of salmon. Chufeya watches affectionately while the boy rubs his head against the man's palm.
Letting out a happy meow, the boy instinctively enjoys the feeling of the head rub.
Amidst floating roses, Xiaofeng leans in and licks the back of the man's hand.
A loud boom sounds as the boy realizes his actions and shouts a startled meow.
Blushing, Xiaofeng explains he never intended to hide the truth about being the cat.
Feya jokes about being a muggle while the chibi boy complains about past misunderstandings. Xiaofeng expresses how happy he is that they could finally communicate in the dream.
In the kitchen, Xiaofeng celebrates being full, while Feya marvels at the strange coincidence.
The boy admits he was afraid Feya wouldn't believe him and would kick him out.
Chufeya calls the boy cute, making Xiaofeng's heart beat fast with nervous excitement.
Feya asks to be called by his name and promises to protect the boy forever.
Repeating his name, the boy struggles to explain the real reason for his life-saving debt.
A sudden boom sounds as the boy experiences a shocking realization about his destiny.
Xiaofeng remembers that paying back the favor meant his time on Earth was over.
Urgently grabbing the man's arm, Xiaofeng insists they see the Meowtriarch immediately.
Chibi Xiaofeng shouts for a woofer driver while Feya is confused by the request.
Dreaming of riding a husky, the boy realizes something feels off about his current state.
Feya places a hand on the boy's shoulder, offering to drive him there without delay.
The man notes he can finally understand the boy and wants to help him. A soft clack sounds as the pair enters the grand lobby of a corporate building.
Chufeya offers the boy his competition hat to hide his ears from the public.
The man waves goodbye as Xiaofeng rushes into the building to find his leader.
The Meowtriarch pushes him away, complaining that he smells like human males.
Xiaofeng looks pitiful as he begs the leader not to send him home yet.
The white-haired woman looks thoughtful, noting she never received a notice about his departure.
Touching his ears, she questions how he retained his features after paying back the debt.
Miao Xiaohua shouts that he finally knows the secret behind the boy's strange state.
He dramatically explains that the Mutual Rescue Act caused a bug in the universal laws.
He declares that love has overwritten all rules, leaving his companions looking completely stunned.